everyone, welcome back to Reading Realm. Today's review is going to be Defy the Stars by Claudia Gray. I don't actually have a physical copy of this book with me today, but I do have some notes that I made about my thoughts. Cosmos is here hanging out and biting a toy, so he might make a little bit of noise, but he's being good. So my initial thoughts, I think it has great world building. There's a strong female protagonist. There's high stakes, and there's also a very interesting dynamic between the male and female protagonist, Abel and Naomi. So Naomi is the pilot of a starship that's scheduled to participate in a suicide mission that is called the Masada Run. And she's doing it to try to protect her home planet from Earth, which is trying to attack them. She lives on a planet that's a colony world of Earth, but they revolted and don't want Earth to take over and kind of destroy the planet the way that Earth has been destroyed by humans. So their planet doesn't really want Earth's involvement anymore, and Earth wants their colony back. So this suicide mission is supposed to temporarily disable the gate that connects Earth and Genesis, her home planet, in order for Genesis to kind of regroup and regain strength before Earth can attack them again. And so Abel, the male protagonist, is a mech who is built by the leading Earth scientist in sort of mechanical life forms and cybernetics. And he has been trapped and abandoned in a spacecraft that's drifting near the Genesis gate for 30 years. So they meet pretty much as enemies because Naomi's training has taught her that mechs are evil and they're just killing machines, because most of the ones that people on Genesis see are soldiers sent to kill them from Earth. And they're designed to just kind of wipe out any rebellion. But Abel has programming that the human that he's in contact with, he's been alone for 30 years, so when he sees her, his programming kind of takes over that she's his new commander. But when Naomi first meets him, they immediately identify each other as the enemy because they are on opposite sides of an interstellar war, and so they're actually about to kill each other. But then they actually end up becoming reluctant allies because Abel knows of a way that they might be able to actually destroy the gate permanently and not have to have, I believe it was 150 pilots die in this suicide run. And so Naomi ends up becoming the new authority figure to Abel, and he ends up trying to help her go find some parts for something that could potentially destroy the gate. And also the Masada Run would only be disabling the gate rather than permanently destroying it, so it would only be a temporary solution anyway, but if they succeed at what they're trying to do, it could permanently destroy the gate and cut Genesis off from the rest of the universe that is trying to come colonize and attack it. And so Naomi, she does really hate the mechs, but she decides she'll use him and work with him in order to complete the quest. And originally she is totally fine with the idea of sacrificing Abel and just him to take down the gate. But over the course of the book, her mindset about that changes. But the two of them start to go on a quest to get this device that they need. And they also have to make it back in time in order to prevent the Masada run from occurring. And so they travel through various star systems, and they deal with rebel group terrorist attacks, also foreign diseases, and also just trying to get the device in the first place. And another complication is that the person that created Abel is also looking for him and trying to track him down and trying to take him back to Earth. And Naomi is also starting to realize at the same time that Abel isn't really what she first thought he was. He is a mech, but he's not just a machine that she can use for her own purposes, and she starts to realize that he is his own person despite being partially artificial intelligence. But he's not just an inanimate tool, he's an actual person as well. And part of that is because over the 30 years that he was trapped in that abandoned ship, he began to gain emotions, and also he can feel pain, he can sometimes think beyond his programming, and he has started being able to dream. And so Naomi is faced with the question of the fact that he can dream means that he has a soul, so she's not sure if she can still send him to his death after finding that out. I think this book does a really good job of exploring the dilemma of basically what it means to be human. Like, can a mech have more humanity than a man, or can a man be more of a monster than a mech? I really, really enjoyed this book. It's got such interesting world building. I love the characters. I feel like the character arc for both Abel and Naomi is very good. It feels very natural, very well paced. And I enjoy that the story is told from each of their perspectives, and I really enjoy that because you can kind of get insight into both of them as characters, as well as kind of how their thoughts related to each other are changing, just because initially they start off as enemies. And it's especially interesting seeing from Abel's perspective kind of what he's thinking versus what his programming tells him he should be thinking. It makes a very interesting dynamic. I also really like the way their relationship to each other changes. It's well paced and it seems natural and makes sense, because I feel like sometimes with the kind of enemies to lovers trope, it feels a little bit more forced. And in this, they don't quite end up as lovers at the end of the book, but it is still like they do start off hating each other. But then they kind of naturally progress to like they don't like each other, but they have to work together, so they're gonna deal with it. To like, maybe this isn't so bad, to actually kind of starting to care about each other, and to, in the end, Abel realizes that he's actually capable of feeling love and is in love with Naomi, and Naomi's still not sure exactly how she feels about him, but she definitely does care about him a lot more, which I feel like I really like that it doesn't end with her being completely, oh, I feel the same, let's live happily ever after, because that just doesn't seem like it fits really with her character. That doesn't really seem like it fits with her character arc or emotional arc. So I like that it doesn't end like that. I think that was well done. And by the end of the book, there is still plenty of room for their dynamic to continue to change and evolve, since this is the first book of a trilogy. And so it leaves a lot of room for both of them to kind of continue to figure out their own feelings and their own thoughts, as well as what they're gonna actually do about those feelings and thoughts. I personally am being attacked by a dog, but I personally give this book 10 out of 10 because I love the world building, I love the characters, I love the pacing, I love the strong female protagonist, and the themes and questions in this book are very thought-provoking, like the whole, what is humanity, what is the value of life, whether it's human or non-human life. I also was able to get thoroughly invested in their mission, and I'm able to go on the emotional journey with them, which I always like in characters when I can relate, even though it's hard to relate to exactly what they're doing flying through the solar systems of all these different planets, but that kind of quest they're on, there's parts that are still relatable. Hi, Cosmos is back. I thought the pacing of the plot twists and plot events were also very good, and it kept my interest the entire time. I wanted more when I was done, which is good because luckily there are 2 other books. And so I will be reviewing the 2nd and 3rd soon, so stay tuned for that. I highly recommend this book to anyone who enjoys science fiction or adventure stories, and although technically it is young adult, it is very deep and profound. My mom also really enjoyed it, actually, so I think that people of any age can enjoy this book. I also think that it's a really interesting book to discuss with someone. For me, that was my mom, just because she was the person who happened to have read it, but it is definitely a lot more thought-provoking and kind of existential in some ways than I had initially thought it would be when I first saw the book. But I do really, really like that about it as well, because I think that it gives it a lot of depth and just kind of more of a dilemma than the actual quest. There's also this ethical dilemma, which is very, very interesting. So overall, I highly recommend it. If you've read it, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. I have a dog who wants all my attention. But that is my review of Defy the Stars. Please let me know what you thought. I hope you liked this video, and if you've read the book, I hope you liked the book as well. Stop biting. But that is it for this review. Let me know what you think, and keep reading. Bye.